Let us this morning experience God's grace. Let us make ourselves receptive and responsive to the experience of God. Let us admit God into our consciousness. And in this wise, even with our eyes closed, we will embrace the universe within ourselves, the whole universe. And we will realize that this universe of God's creating is within us. And that God's love enfolds it, upholds it, and all who are therein. God's love permeates this universe. And all that exists in this universe, God created. And it is spiritual. Just as the Master said, "Why callest thou me good? There is none good except the Father in heaven." So we will know that in this universe there is nothing good or bad. All that exists is of God, and God is the good unto this universe. Whoever it is, wherever it is, whatever it is, we will see it as neither good nor evil, but as wholly spiritual, of God. The good which is God permeates it. Maintains and sustains it. Every individual embraced in our consciousness, we understand to be the Son of God, the child of God, the offspring of God, God's own creation. And of it also, we will not say that it is good or that it is evil, nor that he is good nor evil, nor that she is good or evil, but rather that all those embraced in the spiritual universe are of God, and therefore spiritual. We will not place the word good or the word evil on anybody. We will not label anybody good or evil. We will not label any condition good or evil, even at this moment, as some form of physical, mental, moral, or financial discord comes into your thought, unlabel it. Take off the label of good or evil and see it as merely a condition that exists, but that a condition that exists, not good and not evil, and then have it translated into that which it is, and you will behold a harmony, a health, where heretofore there has been discord or disease. Watch this with your eyes closed. Watch this. Nothing is good and nothing is evil. Begin with this moment and continue for the next weeks and months to come to remember that there is neither good nor evil in this world, and we will place no labels of good and evil upon anyone or anything. The reason is that we acknowledge God to be the only good, and all that exists partakes of God's goodness. And evil has no existence. Regardless of any appearance that may be in your thought at this moment, evil has no existence. Only God and the formations of God have existence. And these we will call neither good nor evil. Remember, it is a state of duality to behold good and evil. Remember that nothing exists in all of this world that is good or evil. It becomes good or evil in proportion to your thinking it so. And so something that is very good to you becomes very evil to your neighbor. Something that is very evil to your neighbor is very good to you. And the reason is that there is neither good nor evil in anything in and of itself. But your thinking can make it so unto you. And then not as a reality, but as an illusory experience which will certainly seem real and painful and harmful and destructive to those who entertain thoughts of evil and destruction. Now this calls for a rebirth on your part and on my part. It means that you are going to consciously make the agreement with me now that in this whole world of men, women, and children, in this whole world of conditions, there is neither good nor evil. God alone is good, and God's goodness permeates all that exists. There is no evil in any condition. There is no evil in any circumstance. There is no evil in any person, because God, the infinite good, has not created evil, and there is no other creator. If we have entertained an evil sense of some person or condition, let us, in this morning of purification, let us purify ourselves of such beliefs. In all of this world, there is not an evil person or condition, meaning there is not a person or condition that has within itself any powers of evil. Regardless of what you may look upon, regardless of what its appearance at this moment to you, you will remove its sting. You will remove its seeming destructive nature when you look upon the person or condition and say within yourself, you have no powers of evil, for there are none. I have heretofore mislabeled you. The world has mislabeled you. And it says that you are evil dangerous, destructive, and now I know it isn't so. I know that in all the universe there is no person or thing or condition that has any quality of evil in it, or any power of evil, or any power of destruction. It is neither good nor evil, for only God is good. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for there is no evil in that condition. There is no evil presence and no evil power. Though I seem to be consumed with disease, I will no longer fear it, for it has within itself no element of destruction, no element of pain, no element of death. It is in and of itself nothingness, since all power is in God. I will not say of this condition that it is good, nor will I say of it that it is evil. I will say merely it is nothingness. God is allness. Everything else is nothingness. And God's allness and God's goodness and God's power and God's law permeates me, this universe, all being and all conditions. Heretofore, we have lived in a world of two powers. We have tried to acquire a good power. We have tried to get rid of an evil power. And now we will do neither. We will rest content in that which is. We will rest content in the realization that apart from God, there is no power. Apart from God, there is no good. But God's omnipotence, omniscience, omnipresence assures that God's good permeates all being, all cause, all effect. I will not judge by appearances, and I will withhold all judgment as to good or evil, and merely acknowledge that God alone is the good. Even this that I have been fearing is not evil. Even this that I have been hating is now evil. Even this that I have been wondering why it came to my dwelling place, even now I know it is not evil. It has no qualities of evil. And he or she has no qualities of evil. Or of good, since God alone is good. This will lead you out of the world of duality, out of the age-old mistake of having a power of God and a power of devil, or a power of good and a power of evil, or a power of immortal and a power of mortal. This will lead you into the fourth dimensional consciousness, in which there is nothing either good or evil, where all that is receives its grace, glory, power, substance, cause, and law from God. Nothing is good, nothing is evil. All it is of God, and therefore spiritual, above qualities, above quantities. Into the realm of God there is neither quality nor quantity. There is only infinity, eternality, immortality. A divine state of being which has no opposites, is neither good nor evil, but is spiritual. The miracles of grace come into our experience in proportion as we withdraw judgments, labels from the world of men and women, conditions, things, and circumstances, and no longer speak the language of good or evil, no longer speak the language of comparisons, but recognize God as the creative principle of all, and therefore all is spiritual. It is not what goes into the mouth that defileth or maketh a lie, but that which emanates from your own consciousness. You will never again be able to blame a person, a circumstance, or a condition for the inharmonies of your life, because you will recognize that it is nothing that goes into your experience that defileth or maketh a lie, nothing that man whose breath is in his nostril can do to you that maketh a lie, but rather what emanates from your consciousness. If you persist in living in the world of duality and having some things good and some things bad, then that bread which you have cast on the waters returns to you. And as you have cast the bread of duality, so the bread of duality returns unto you. But if you retire to the rear of your own consciousness and look out at this world and say, I withdraw all labels from you. I no longer see you as good or evil. I see you as of God. And I see God's goodness permeate you. I see God's goodness uphold you, sustain you. I see the law of God keep you in perfect peace. I do not give you labels of good or evil. No good or evil emanates from my consciousness. Only the vision of God's spiritual perfection, maintaining a spiritual universe in eternal glory, and having no glory of its own, but showing forth God's glory. God's handiwork. The heavens declare the glory of God. The earth showeth forth his handiwork. And so you see, we have no glory of our own, but it is God's glory. And so you may not call it good, you may not call it evil, you must call it spiritual of God. God's grace does not remove disease. God's grace reveals to us that there never has been disease, that we have accepted the world's concept of good and evil, and therefore we have demonstrated that. Now, in our spiritual enlightenment, we will no longer label anything disease. We will no longer label anything evil. We will no longer believe that any condition has in itself a power of evil, of destruction, or of pain, since all power emanates from God. We will no longer believe that there is a law of disease, since all law is spiritual. There is no good law and evil law. There is only one law, spiritual law, the law of God, which governs God's creation, and there is no other creation. All that is made, God made. And God saw all that he made, and it is very good. Therefore, we must not be deceived by appearances and be tempted into saying, but this is evil, but this is error, but this is discord, and we must get rid of it or rise above it. No, no, no. We must come into the glory of God and realize God made all that was made. And all that was made is maintained and sustained by its creative principle, which is God. And regardless of appearances to my misguided senses, I will label nothing good, I will label nothing evil, I will label all things spiritual of God. This spiritual vision will result in the translating of these false appearances into an understanding of the divine harmony which is ever present. When you go to the altar to pray, there remember that any man has aught against thee, first get up, make peace with thy brother, then return to the altar with thy gifts. And so, if at any time you attempt to pray or commune with God, and remember that you are holding anything in your consciousness as being good or evil, stop right there and make peace within yourself by agreeing nothing is good or evil. Only God is good, and the infinity of God's goodness permeating all being leaves nothing of an evil or destructive nature. Then, when you have made peace, so that you are not warring within yourself against a person, a thing, or a condition, then you may return to your meditation and your communion and say, Father, I come to you with clean hands. I have naught against anyone, and I do not accept anyone or anything as evil. Therefore, no one and no thing has anything against me. And so now I am in thy presence in my spiritual purity. I am entertaining no evil concept of person or thing or condition. I am at peace with all creation. And then in that state of spiritual purity, the grace of God is enabled to permeate your mind, your soul, your being, your body, and your pocketbook. The grace of God is enabled to flow in a consciousness that is not divided against itself. The grace of God is enabled to flow in a consciousness that is not at war with anyone or anything. God's grace is enabled to flow through a consciousness that is single-pointed, that has only one presence, one power, no opposite, no opposition. Then is prayer answered. But while we have aught against someone, or someone has aught against us, that means while we are beholding someone or something as having evil qualities or propensities, while we believe that there is a world of duality, and someone or something is evil, has evil, can cause or produce evil, we are a house divided against itself. We are a state of consciousness at war within ourselves, and the grace of God cannot reveal itself in such a divided household. Now we must be of single mind. We must see with a single eye. And to do that, we must withdraw the labels of good and evil from everything there is and acknowledge all good to be God. God alone to be good. If you vest anything with the power of evil, that is the only evil it has to react upon you. When you withdraw the label of evil, since it has no powers of evil within itself, there are no longer any appearances of evil or beliefs of evil to react upon you. A belief of evil entertained in your consciousness reacts upon you. As you sow, so shall you reap. If you entertain a sense of evil to a person, place, thing, circumstance, or condition, that sense of evil which you entertain is the sense of evil which returns to harm your being, your body, your business. When you relinquish all sense of evil, when you refuse to vest anything with powers of evil, then your consciousness is purged of all sense of evil, and there is no longer a sense of evil to operate in you, upon you, through you, or against you. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And it doesn't really mean think. It means in his heart. It means as he is convinced in his consciousness. Whatever consciousness he entertains, that's what he draws unto himself. Therefore, do not entertain any consciousness, any awareness or sense of evil. Then none can react upon you. Cast your bread upon the waters. Cast your understanding of oneness upon the waters. Cast your understanding of God's grace as sufficiency upon the waters. Cast your realization of God as the all-good upon the waters, and these will return to you. Yes, we must be in the world, but not of it. We must take care of our business, of our family life, of our social life, of our community life, of our national life, and our international life. But we must not accept the world's standards of what is taking place. We, above all, even while watching the passing parade of human events, we must stand back and realize that inherent in this world is no power of evil.